Hi, guys. Welcome to the Lone Star Play Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Scott Armstrong. The Lone Star Play Podcast is produced by Texas Real Food. Make sure to go to texasrealfood.com to get a comprehensive list of artisanal, organic, and all-natural products throughout the state of Texas. Let's get to it. So, we have a very special episode again, because we're just in special episode mode, basically. With this coronavirus and pandemic, So, we're all in quarantine and we all know what we're going through. So anyway, going to do another remote interview. Today, I'm speaking with Sam Lash. He is the Director of Operations for Farm to Table, Texas, which is based here out of Austin. And he is the son of the owner and helped co-found it with his father. They've been in business since about 2008, 2009. And basically what they do is provide, you know what? I'm just going to let Sam explain it. So let's listen to the interview with Sam and get his take on what's happening. Well, thank you, man, for taking the time. I know you're, super busy and have a million things going on. So just first of all, just kind of tell us a little bit about Farm to Table, and kind of what you briefly what you guys do, and then we'll get into what's happening right now and what you guys are doing.
Perfect. So we started in the summer of 2008, and we are a wholesale distribution company that sources food exclusively from farmers, ranchers, producers, food artisans in Texas, and distributes them to, until recently, restaurants. We still obviously are doing restaurants, but that's our focus: wholesale distribution. We are the connection between farmers, producers, ranchers, and chefs, restaurateurs, small independent grocery stores, coffee shops, all of the local entities.
If you need a connection to a farm, go through you guys.
Exactly. I mean, in 2008, I feel like not only the farm to table movement in, at what point it was at in Austin, but also the way that the culinary culture in Austin was just starting to kind of like really, really ramp up and go through a very, profound transformative period. We saw a need to make the connection. I'm born and raised in Austin. My father's been here for 50 years, so our roots run pretty deep here. And we started asking some restaurateur friends, some chef friends, people in the industry, what it was like back in 2008 to try and, source food locally, to, have a direct line to farmers. And, basically the reaction was, we love it. We want to do more of it, but it is at this point difficult. I mean, in 2008, this is before the era of everybody having a smartphone in their pocket. I mean,
sure.
A lot of times farmers wouldn't even have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Maybe not even an email address, so if you're trying to, build your menu upon being able to depend on what they're doing, and, it's difficult to communicate. They're very far away. Sometimes the only way that you can make any connection whatsoever is to get to the farmer's market on a Saturday before the crowds come, which means that you're working dinner service until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you're getting up Saturday morning trying to get to the farmer's market, 6 or 7 a.m. to try and make your connections. And so we saw a need for a service, and we said, we told the farmers, we want to buy all of your product, and we told the chefs, we want to deliver this product to your back door. And everybody was like, yes, please.
Let's do that. Yeah, I mean, it's a great concept, obviously, because it centralizes everything. So you don't necessarily need to go look for all the different farmers and where am I going to get cheese from and meat and poultry and whatever it may be. You go through one company and you can get it all. So you just said basically like that you guys buy the product and then you sell it back to the restaurants?
Exactly. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay.
so we have a warehouse in pretty centrally located, basically at I-35 in Ben White. Big walk-ins, and we either go to the farms or the farmers come to us. It's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Whatever logistically works for whatever relationship that is, and we store the product. We take orders, we load it up on trucks, and we bring it to the customer.
About, I mean, this may be tough, but what percentage of restaurants, let's just say in Austin proper, are you guys supplying food to? 25%, 50%, 10%? I mean, or is it just too hard to know that?
My answer to that question is all of the good ones.
I love it. I love it. That's a much better answer than a percentage. So yes, that's great. Yeah, to all the great places. That's hilarious. Okay, so I mean, now with obviously with this global pandemic, every time I think about it or talk about it, it makes my mind hurt because I've never been through anything like this. So it's like I don't even know what to like lean on from the past. You know what I mean? As you get older, that's kind of what you do. You lean on from things you've been through and helped you get through things you're going through. And this is just something just so odd, and it's affecting businesses in such a unique way and in such a fast way because it just kind of came out of nowhere and literally crippled our industry right now. So what is farm to table doing, and how much are y'all crippled by all of this? Right? I mean, people aren't buying the same quantities, or maybe they're looking for cheaper way out. I don't know. I mean, what's it been for you guys like?
Um, Man, it's pretty difficult to put into words.
Sure.
It really evokes, a very serious emotional reaction from me.
Yeah.
I basically, in my mind, and I'll never forget this date. I basically marked the beginning of this journey for our entire industry, at least in Texas, and specifically in Austin, as Monday, March 16th. That's when I walked into the office and checked. I always open the office on Monday morning. I get there at about like 4:45 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and power up the all the systems. Be checking the emails, checking the text, check the voicemails, and on a Monday morning we're generating somewhere in between 125 and 150 orders, and we had like less than 25
Wow.
Monday morning, and
Wow.
a lot of
That's after the weekend, right? So that's when you usually get your biggest orders.
it's a wild day, and being that we service Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and the Hill Country corridor, and all points in between. Monday we're going to San Antonio, we're going to Dallas, we're going to all of Austin. I mean, so we're all over the place. There's a lot going on. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty indescribable. The reality really started to set in. I was holding out hope that you know Austin wasn't going to get hit as hard as New York City and the West Coast, just being that those are the ports of entry. Um,
Yeah.
and I was hoping that we were going to dodge a bit of a bullet and wasn't going to get as bad, but obviously, it's become a nationwide thing. But yeah, that Monday morning, man, it was. I mean, to put it plainly, that was the worst day of my professional life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, our customer base is roughly 90 to 95% restaurants, and for this to be happening. I mean, sometimes we're going so fast now with everything that's happening, just trying to evolve and figure things out on the fly, that I mean, I'm busier than I've ever been in my life, ironically. But sometimes when I sit back and think what's actually happened to this industry, not only in Texas, but the entire country, I'm just like, I still can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, man. Like I said, it came out of left field. Like you said, you walked in and on a Monday morning, boom,
It was
just
over. It was over. It was
yeah,
straight up. I
just
mean,
like that.
Friday and Saturday were a bit down, but people were still going out to eat. I mean, just to, show our support, my wife and I, we even went to one of our favorite restaurants that Friday night just to be like, man, as long as we can still support, we're still going to support.
Yeah.
Uh, and, this is a restaurant that is normally, a line out the door and, impossible to get into. And there was 25% of their tables were empty on a Friday night, which is extremely irregular for them. And, it was just that Monday morning, man, it was like
Just the rug pulled out from underneath you, right?
unreal.
Yeah,
Unreal.
just a left hook. I mean, I think that's how a lot of people feel, and a lot of businesses feel. That's what makes it so hard to deal with, because you're on your heels trying to adapt, and that's why you're working so hard. But I bet a lot of it is just spinning wheels, because you're just trying to think of what can we do here, and you end up working more hours to try to supplement, the little that you guys are, whatever you can get really to put together. And it's devastating, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. It's devastating. I'm saddened for our industry. And I've been in the industry for such a long time, and I don't know really anything else too well. So you know what I mean? It's like, eh, I'm at a loss for words. I just think about business owners, people losing their jobs, not being able to pay rent, not being able to eat, and all these different things. Dreams gone, just overnight. It's like, and it's national, so it's not like, well, it's only just happening here, and it's only just happening here. It's just happening everywhere, and we're kind of just in the beginning, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not too terribly close to the end. As much as I try and remain optimistic, I actually had to run to Dallas today for a couple of customers, and we were just listening to the radio while we were in Dallas, and they announced that they did the shelter in place. A formal declaration of shelter in place has been extended to May 22nd in Dallas.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm sure that, I'm sure that Austin isn't going to be far behind that
Yeah.
with our announcement. But yeah, like we are 100% the entire month of April, and most smart people that know what's going on with all this stuff will say in the entire month of May as well. So I've been I've, I've been hoping that it is going to be like a 13-week thing, is what I'm saying. From March 16th, it's going to be a 13-week thing, and so like we just ended week 3 and we got 10 weeks to go. I mean, that's just the way that I'm kind of like keeping myself sane on this.
Sure. I mean, you got to be realistic, right? I mean, you also have to be, you can't just think, oh, well, a couple weeks, we'll be back to normal. Numbers will be back. Like, it's not going to happen. Even when everything opens back up, it's still
Right.
going to be kind of a slow crawl, you know, to get back to where things were. And so what are you guys doing currently now? I looked on y'all's website, and you guys are offering deliveries straight to the public. Is that correct?
Correct. So, um, you know, we saw, like I said, Friday and Saturday kind of, saw this coming. I mean, you all you have to do is look at what happened in Seattle and New York City to know that, this was happening.
Yeah.
There's you can try and deny it, you can try and put your head in the sand, but you're only going to be hurting yourself even worse. This is happening. And I had a conversation with my father. He's the owner of the company, and we have all of this food, we have all of these connections to these farmers that we've been cultivating for over a decade.
Ugh.
And, no matter what happens, no matter what happens in the world, no matter what, you could be anything, people are going to need food,
Yeah.
no matter what. And the restaurants are closed, so they're not going to be able to get it there. The HEBs at that point, 3 weeks ago, were absolute mayhem. Like,
Yeah.
just, it was like competitive grocery shopping was happening.
Yeah.
And people, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. It was depressing to me to be anywhere near that type of like overconsumption,
Sure.
in a state of panic and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that, people didn't have the reasons, of course, but I knew that there was going to be a need for food, a need for people to get food, a need for people to get good food safely. And, some of my closest friends and family, some of our customers are like, dude, you got to make a shift, man. It's going to happen. People are not going to be wanting to leave their houses. The grocery stores are running out of food. You have food. You have the connections to the supply chain. You need to make the shift. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful, but you got to make it happen. And, something that under normal circumstances, we would have taken 3-4 months to prepare for something like this. Lined up websites, lined up marketing, lined up protocols, lined up new team members, lined up all kinds of things. We had to make this decision. Essentially, we made the decision on Saturday evening and we launched it on Monday morning.
Wow. Talk about a turnaround. I mean,
oh my God. And I mean, it was extremely imperfect.
well, I mean, come on.
It created a lot of logistical, organizational issues for my office staff and for my warehouse staff. But I sat everybody down and I plainly told them, I was like, look, guys, we're in survival mode right now. Straight up, we're in survival mode. I had to furlough. Luckily, out of our 20 staff members, I only had to furlough 5, and I've already brought one of them back.
Yeah.
So I feel very, very good and very proud about that.
Sure.
But I said, we're in survival mode. So, we were a fine-tuned machine that, it took us 12 years to get to where we were, but we had all of our processes and systems in place. We had an outstanding and still do have an outstanding staff that are the best at what they do. And it had, I don't want to say, this too much, but it had become easy for us what we were doing because we've been doing it for so long. We had it dialed in. We were in a routine. We were methodical, and things were done the same way, every week. And we knew customers' habits. We knew how to anticipate what they were going to need. We knew our schedules with our farms, our yearly schedules. I mean, we were on point. And then when this happened, it was just like, take all of that, ball it up, throw it in the trash can, and literally start from scratch.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. I mean, it is. It's absolutely insane. What are some of these farmers, reactions to what's going on? I mean, I'm sure they're scared.
Well, yeah, but they've also noticed what we've noticed, and people are coming out of the woodwork, trying to get food, and people are being more persistent, more proactive about connecting with their farmers. That was the things that I was most scared of was, obviously the business, but also my farmers. I was like, they depend so much upon us for revenue stream that what happens if we go away? I mean, it's a huge void in the entire system, how it works. They grow it, we buy it, that's how it works.
Yeah.
But some of my farmers I reach out to, hey man, how are you doing? Oh man, all these people reached out to us out here, in Burnett, Texas, and they can't get any food from the local podunk grocery store that's out here, so they've all banded together and we've started a CSA and we're busier than we've ever been, And if you're a chicken or egg farmer right now, good Lord, you're busier than you've ever been.
That's crazy.
I have an egg farmer. He said that he's been trying to get into Central Market for over a year. They won't return his calls. Trying. They called him I think it was Tuesday the 17th or the 8th, Wednesday the 18th, and said, "We'll take everything you got right now. We'll take everything you got."
Oh my God.
And we'll take everything you got next week, and we'll take everything you got the week after that.
Yeah. Just clearing inventories. Just boom, we'll take everything. That's crazy.
Everything. I mean, he's like, and he was one of the guys I worried about. This was a guy that started very small, and I kind of guided, look, I want you to become a pasture raised egg source. I want to source my local pasture raised eggs exclusively from you. And so, you need to ramp up production. So he goes and buys, 2,000 laying hens based on what I'm going to buy. And then all of a sudden, when that goes away, I'm worried sick because he's about to be left hanging. Well, luckily, here comes almighty and powerful HEB, and he's busier than he's ever been in his life. So, it's the things that are happening with food right now and have been happening, like I said, for the past 3 weeks. It's been extremely, extremely fascinating. And being that, we're so embedded within this world of supply chains and farmers and how things get to where they're getting, and it's wild, man. It's crazy what's been happening. I mean, we have a farm that we work with in the valley. He's a certified organic farmer. He grows year round, but right now he's focused on greens, kale, collards, fresh herbs, beets, cabbages, things like that. And HEB, normally what they do is they bring all of their produce to a central distribution center. They have one in San Antonio, one in Austin, one in the Dallas area. They bring everything there. They build their orders. They put it on trucks and they take it to their different stores. They have hundreds of them. They have been so busy that they're asking all the farmers to deliver directly to the store. So they're not going to the distribution centers. And so everything is moving so fast. So he doesn't own trucks. He has to pay trucking companies to bring his produce to the distribution centers. So he was the HEB orders were coming at him so fast that he brought all of his produce up to us, stored it in our warehouse, and we were using our farm-to-table trucks and delivering directly to all the HEBs throughout Texas, just because they could not get the food on the shelves quick enough. They didn't have enough trucks to move fast enough to get the food to their stores. And so we come in and essentially become like HEB distributing trucks.
Yeah. That's I mean it's like the wild wild west right now in a way, right? Just whatever to get anything done.
Goes.
Yeah, anything goes. What do you see any of these practices that are being explored right now and even being operated? Do you see any of these things staying over when the industry gets back to normal? Do you anything you guys are doing in particular that you're like, you know what, when this is all said and done, we're going to keep doing it this way or whatever? I don't know.
Well, the home delivery thing, we're gonna keep doing. It's something
That's interesting, right? That's a new revenue stream.
It's whether we like it or not, and we do like it.
Yeah.
Of course. People have been, they're like, oh, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? And my background is working in restaurants. I lived in Chicago and worked in restaurants. I lived in San Francisco and worked in restaurants. I worked in a lot of old school restaurants in Austin, and I like to say that I speak chef. I know what they want. I know how to interact with them. I know how to do business with them. My skill set falls in line with being able to service them. It's a completely different game servicing direct to homes. It's a completely different customer service model. It's a completely different, style of what you're providing for them. It's just completely different. And not to say that we aren't capable of it, because we are. We're doing it now, but we wanted to be focused on the wholesale side. We wanted to be focused on the restaurant side. We've obviously gotten, because of what's going on, we've shifted into this, and we're finding that, especially under the circumstances, man, it's been extremely rewarding, man. Like the reactions that we've gotten from people, they're just like, thank you so much. Like, my mother, lives in Northwest Hills, and she's 70 years old, and she can't leave the house because she's an at-risk category, and we need to get her food, and here we come, delivering right to her front doorstep, non-contact delivery, all of this, amazing local food. And they write us these emails that are like, "You've saved my life," and it's pretty wild, man. It's
It
pretty.
is well, and on top of that, people are getting fresh, healthy food. That's what's
Exactly.
great about this. Way better food than they would normally probably get and even buy for themselves.
Yeah.
So that's another good part to it. Um, so as far as like the quarantine goes, like I know you're having to go, to work and do these things. What is it like coming home? Is the family, everyone trying to stay separate? I mean, how is that? How is trying to just juggle that on its own?
Well, it's just me and my wife and the dogs at the house, and my wife works for the city, so they're in full work from home mode.
Yeah,
But I mean, all I'm doing is going to work and coming home.
yeah.
Um, and we have very strict safety standards that we have put forth with our entire staff. Everybody is gloved up and masked up. We are sanitizing all work surfaces multiple times throughout the day. Nobody that does not work for our company is allowed in our warehouse under any circumstances, which is very irregular for us because we're a small family-owned company and we deal with local farmers. They come in, they deliver, we shoot, we hang out, we talk about what's going on, and I have to walk
You
out
shoot
to.
the shit. You could say that. It's all good. You
We
could say
shoot the
that.
shit.
Yeah,
I
you
have
shoot
to
the
walk
shit.
out into the parking lot with people that I've been, have literally, been buying product from for over 10 years and be like, "I'm sorry, but you can't come in the building." Like literally, like it's bizarre. It almost feels it almost feels
It's
like.
bizarre. It's bizarre,
Yeah.
right? Like I put on a mask today for the first time when I went out, and it's so odd. It's just that is definitely a moment I'm not going to forget. Going out with a homemade bandana mask that I made. It just like what is happening right now? What is on top of restaurants and the industry and this sort of collapsing or just on the verge of collapsing, the whole world is stopped, right? So it's just like everything, anybody you talk to is affected in this way or that way, and it just makes it very difficult, right, to sort of get your bearings straight and understand what's happening. And it's all happening so quick. So just as you get used to one thing, another thing happens. And I just read this article that really stopped me in my tracks, to be honest with you, because I've been very gung-ho about restaurants staying open and doing delivery and takeout and yada yada yada. When I read this article about there's some big restaurant groups who are starting to close their doors regardless, even though they can do delivery and takeout. They just said that the health risk was not worth it to them, that someone had actually come in with COVID and gotten some other people sick in a restaurant. And they were seeing customers who were coming in to pick up takeout just clearly coughing and not taking the procedures, well enough. So even though you're taking all the precautions, doesn't mean everyone that you're dealing with is. And it can put the staff at risk. And it got me thinking, is it worth it to stay open even though people could get sick and die? Like I realized the word essential and I started to blend into expendable. Like, are we expendable, not essential employees? And I wonder if there's a lot of pressure from the economy and society for us to remain open and be an essential business. But I almost wonder if we need more government help and money so that we can be at home and safe, because so many people get the luxury of working from home remotely. They don't have to take that risk to go into some place and deal with people and on a rotating basis. So I'm curious, what you think about that, personally and professionally, because I'm sure you have two different opinions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right about that. Like, most everybody should be and hopefully is staying home right now. And a part of me is jealous. I mean, but that's kind of that's always been our life. If you're in this industry, when people are home, you're at work.
Yeah.
When they get off 2 weeks for Christmas, you're working. When
Yeah.
they get off for New Year's, you're working. When they get off for Easter, you're working.
Yeah.
We're always working.
Yeah.
When people are at home, we're working. And right now everybody's like, oh, I'm so bored. I got nothing to do. I'm just gonna take up learning the piano or something. It's like I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life to deliver food to your front door because that's what we do. We're always working. Now, that being said, as I was telling you, we are taking safety extremely seriously.
Of course. Of course.
And restaurants that are still open and doing to go, some of them have taken a step back because of situations that have been happening at their restaurants to kind of reassess and put, a more steadfast plan in place that protects everybody. And we're seeing, obviously, we have our finger directly on the pulse. We come in every day and we are still delivering to a handful of restaurants. And every day it kind of becomes more and more of a handful of restaurants. We got calls from 4 restaurants yesterday telling us, hey, just to let you know, we've got all of our systems in place. We've got all of our plan set, and this is what we're going to need, and we're going to roll it out next week. And so they kind of,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
promising. Yes, that's awesome.
took a deep breath, assessed what was going on, figured out what was the right way to do this, and that they're making a very concerted effort to do it safe, to make it to what's approachable for people, what's going to work for people right now, what's approachable for them, what they can create, because they don't want to, lessen the quality or
Sure.
or put a bad reflection upon their reputation or name. Do it right, do it safe, and make it work for the public. And I think that it's gonna be really cool. I mean, this week alone we've done Lenoir, Commodore, and tonight we're doing Suerte. We just dropped by Suerte and we have the full setup for Suadero tacos in the kitchen that we're about to heat up. And
Nice.
man, it's special. It's like you get to kind of peek behind the curtain. You get to walk on the line and see like the full prep. Okay, I love the bone marrow tacos from Commodore. I don't know what they do. They're amazing. Now I get everything, all the mise en place is right there on my counter. I get to see this, and I get directions of how it's put together. And so it's almost like you get to like step in their kitchen for a moment and like construct one of their dishes. And then you get to enjoy it at your house.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And I think that once again, not everybody, but most of us eat 3 times a day, and that's never going to stop.
It's kind of like karaoke for cooking.
Yeah.
In a way,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You're performing cover songs.
Yeah, exactly. They're cover songs. I love that. That's honestly, how many times have you gone to a restaurant and eaten and go, man, I fucking love this dish. How do they make this?
Right.
And boom, obviously there's some secrets that chefs don't want to give away. But you don't know what's all the way in that sauce. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you don't need to know all the little details. That's great.
You don't
honestly.
have to do any of the hard part. You just
Yeah.
get to you just get to it's like they did all of the prep, they did all of the hard part, and they said, here it is. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, put it on a plate, and you're eating.
And boom. This is getting people to eat at home more, obviously. Cook more at home. You know what I mean? Put together meals, even get their kitchen in order. I've noticed that about people at their homes, the way they have their kitchen set up. It's not set up to cook, so it's like things aren't set up in a way where you could grab easily. That keeps people from cooking when it's a fucking damn. It's going to take me 3 hours to fucking do this shit.
Right.
So if you set it up a way, you'll cook easier and you'll cook more often. So that's something that there is a silver lining, and there's a few of them, but this is one of them, that people will come out of this eating better, I think, and healthier, to be honest with you, when this is
100%.
done.
They're forced into it. They're
Yeah,
forced into it. I
yeah,
mean,
they're forced. Yeah,
I've even noticed it in myself. I mean, we cook a lot, obviously. I mean, we have access to good food, and
yeah,
we enjoy cooking. Cooking to me is therapy. But I also enjoy going out to restaurants, and I feel like it's an important thing that all of us um, Texans go out and support um, chefs and restaurants as much as possible. But we haven't been going out to eat at all.
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
but this takeout thing, man, it's cool. It's a different experience. It's a different way to experience um, our restaurants. It's a way to kind of peek behind the curtain. And I know that as much fun as people are having cooking right now, if they get the opportunity to have an experience at home, for more oftentimes than not, far more affordable than it would be going to the restaurant, they're going to jump all over it.
Yes, of course.
They're going to jump all over it. They're going to see it on Instagram. They're going to see it on Facebook. They're going to see it, in all these different avenues. They'll be like, you mean I can just go to the restaurant, or they can deliver it to me, and it's like $50-$60 and it's like dinner, like done? Like, oh yeah, I'm all about that.
I agree. Yeah, there's going to be, what's funny is a lot of this food from some of these restaurants, and honestly, restaurants that you deliver to, a lot of this food is not deliverable. That's why they're having to even make these adjustments to kind of have you put the final touches together, because that's what they do in the end, right? And the food has a lifespan, at some of these places. I mean, the restaurants I worked were very high end, and I just know that we didn't do takeout or delivery at all. I mean, forget it. Even takeout was like we didn't even do. Most of the restaurants I worked, to be honest with you, was like that. Just because it's just the way the food's plated, and the foam and this and that. You know what I'm talking about. So I know restaurants are even having to make adjustments on how to meet the public in the middle, in a way, compromise. So like you're saying, have the last final steps to put this together, and people learn from that too. So this is how this could be done, and maybe I could do something like this, and that's one of the benefits from it. I do have one question. So what are the different things that you guys offer as far as farm to table? I know you offer meat, dairy, produce, any, vegetables, fruits, obviously, but like any sort of like paper goods or anything. I know toilet paper's like fucking, I can't find any toilet paper in the city. I'm going nuts. I'm about to start looking up some like Ugandan practices, like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've thought about. I mean, it's like every day we think about,
well, yeah, what else?
10 more things. Like, what else should we do? How else should we, shift this thing? We always, made a conscious decision to kind of stay out of that, to focus on food. It was
food.
Just food. All right.
Yeah.
And we like to call ourselves the one-stop shop for everything local. So you can get fruits, vegetables, local grains, local olive oil, local kombucha, local cheeses, local milk, eggs, all proteins except for fish. So anything that walks, and that includes poultry, pork, Wagyu beef, Angus beef, lamb, goat, quail, duck, turkey, wild boar, venison, everything.
Wow. Wow.
And we wanted to make it to where you could get everything.
Yeah.
You
just go on the website, right? You go on the website, fill out form,
right?
Or
right. To place an order now for home delivery, we created on the fly a new online ordering system. So you just go to our website, farmtotabletx.com, and it's a big button right there on the homepage, and you have a choice of 2 pre-constructed boxes. We have the omnivores box, which is a combination of what's in season right now as far as fruits and vegetables, in addition to local ground beef, a really nice pasture-raised chicken, some local beverages, as well as eggs and cheese. And then there's also a vegetarian box, which is even more fruits and vegetables, as well as some eggs and cheese and local beverages. And then we have a really extensive add-on list. We've had to obviously shift and adapt in that way. So I ended up taking a lot of our Wagyu and Angus primals that we normally sell, like, entire ribeye loins and New York strip loins, and took them to a local butcher shop that cut them up into steaks. So you can just buy pre-cut steaks. We're working with a pasture-raised poultry operation that, puts a pound of product and vacuum seals it in one of those, beautiful trays that you see at the grocery store.
Oh yeah.
We have those available, but it's we're the exclusive distributor for this pasture-raised poultry operation. It's really, really special stuff. You can add on eggs, you can add on yogurt, you can add on beverages, you can add on local cheeses, you can add on bacon, all these kind of things. But yeah, I mean, maybe we need to start thinking about toilet paper and hand sanitizer.
I mean, I saw one restaurant, Peach Tortilla. They were adding, as a gimmick, but also like, shit, I could use that, So it's like, I just, whatever. It's just one of those things, just so people know what can they get from you, you know what I mean? So basically, the deal is you start with a base box between two of them, and then kind of personalize it. Yeah, personalize it. Get whatever else in addition you need to it. I think that's a great idea, man. To be honest with you, I remember going to London in November, and I did a podcast at the very first organic pub in London, and from a farm. So they were directly connected to like one farm, and they started selling these boxes. And this is like back in the early '90s. And they started selling these boxes like you guys are doing, to the home, and they're still doing it to this day, man. 30 years later, selling these seasonal boxes like you guys are doing. So it can work, and it does work. And I think the more people see it, and this is honestly a great time marketing wise to get people on board with that part of the revenue. Obviously a horrible way for this to go about, but I'm always trying to think of the positive things in these moments. What can I grab onto that's positive, and that is something positive. You guys will be able to streamline doing this type of delivery, and then when things go back to normal, you'll have it worked out. So it wouldn't be something that you added on in the middle of doing all your normal business, which could have been a headache. Because like you said, it's very different dealing with the chef mind and just Karen. Right. Like it's like a completely different person. And the way they want meats cut and this and that, and who knows what the issues would be. I think the way you're doing it is the best way. Base box, and let me just add on, to what I'm doing, and whatever's fresh. Then it's an ever changing sort of thing, because whatever's fresh, this is what we're gonna get. So
What's in
man.
What's in season?
Yeah. What's in season? Exactly.
Yeah, and we learned after the first week, which was just complete chaos.
Yeah, I bet.
It would benefit the customer and it would benefit us if things were simple and easy.
Yes.
And that's what we've done. We've made it very simple and very easy. Like you said, the base box gives you a really cool, diverse spread of literally everything that we have to offer. And then the opportunity is there for you to, say, hey, I want to have like a fun steak night with the fam. So I'm going to add on 3 or 4 steaks, or, I really, really want to roast some chicken. So I'm going to throw some chicken in there. I need more eggs. I need more bacon. I want to bring in, a couple packs of Rambler sparkling water just because I love it, or I want some more kombucha. And the opportunity is there.
What's the delivery schedule like? Is it like a couple days a week? You go out and make the deliveries, or every day, or how does that work?
Monday through Friday. We allow people to enter a delivery preference date, and we do our best to honor that preference. But being that demand is so high right now, we are, essentially on a first come, first served basis.
Sure.
If like if you place your order, today, for instance, but you didn't want it next week until Wednesday or Thursday, then that's obviously something that we can and will honor.
Got it. Got it. Plus, you're trying to, clump the deliveries together. Like, I can't even imagine, man. You guys must be, you guys are
God bless
heroes. You
technology.
guys are heroes for people, man. To be honest with you, like, there's a lot of people saying that. Like, you guys are heroes for what you're doing. The farmers, you guys, like, everything that you guys are going through, it's just insane. And the way you guys are adapting and, like you said, bringing the food to the people. People have to eat no matter what happens. People don't need Facebook. People don't need Instagram. People don't even need toilet paper, but we fucking need food. So, like, it's essential. It really is an essential thing, and just you guys having to adapt and taking a hit to the business and still staying positive, man, and hopeful. And you could have easily just put your head in the sand, and a lot of people could, but yeah, it's not what you did. And it's something that I always say about our industry is that we're fighters. If you come from the restaurant industry, you're a fighter, man. You know what I mean? You got something in you. Yeah, you got a
some shit.
yeah.
You've had some nights, you've had some weeks, some stretches where
Yeah.
it was really, really bad. Everybody that's worked in this industry has been through some serious stuff, and so we know how to deal with chaos. We know how to deal with situations that aren't ideal, and getting through them. And that's exactly what this is. And this is a business that my father and I started together, and there was just absolutely no way that I was just going to take it laying down. I mean, whether we made it through this or not remained to be seen, but I was sure as hell going to try. I was going
Yeah.
to do anything and everything I could. And that's still kind of the message that we're trying to put forth with our staff, and with everybody. Is just like, our goal is to make it through this, because this is not going to last forever. And restaurants will rise again, and we want all the restaurants to be there, and we want to be there, because if we're there and they're not there, then there's no point. Or if
Sure.
they're there and we're not there, then there's a huge void. And so everybody's got to make it. Everybody.
It's a train, right? It's a train. Every cart, right? It just has to be that way. But look, you guys are all taking care of each other. That's something I see coming out of the industry, specifically here in Texas and specifically here in Austin. Is just the outpouring of support from people just trying to help each other and get through this and make this happen. I mean, the good news is, if it can be considered good news, is that we're all going through it. There's really not one person you turn to and they're just like, oh yeah, life's fucking great. Like, everybody you turn to is dealing with some sort of dilemma, something that's impeding them in some way. It's inevitable at this point. So yeah, man, this is just crazy. That this is happening. And again, just kudos to you guys for what you guys are doing. And so what do you think? Let's end on a good, positive, fresh thing. And this is this. What would be the best way for people to support this industry?
That's a good question. It's a multifaceted answer to that. First and foremost, do what you're comfortable with. I mean, it's easy for me to say, just go out and do to go every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and order farm boxes from farm to table every day.
Yeah.
But that's obviously not the answer. Is not that simple. Everybody needs to take care of themselves. Everybody needs to be conscious of doing everything they can to flatten the curve. But the restaurants that are doing to go in this entire state are being extremely conscious of taking all of their customers' safety into the forefront of the thinking of whatever the experience is, whether it's delivery, whether it's pickup, whether they're doing fully prepared meals, whether they're doing meals that you have to assemble at home, whether they're also selling farm boxes, they're being safe while they're doing what they're doing, and they're making sure that the customer's experience, the safety is a huge priority. So, support restaurants. They need us now more than ever, because like I said, we're always open. We're open when you're off. We're there for every birthday, every graduation dinner, every Valentine's dinner, your date night, whatever it is. We're the ones that are there to take care of you. And they need us now more than ever. And
Yeah.
when you support our restaurants, you're supporting farmers, you're supporting all kinds of companies, not just my company. You're supporting all kinds of local companies that depend on restaurants to survive in order for everything to keep going. So, do what you can. I know we all know we got to eat. So spread it around. Spread it around.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Eating local is. I've been talking to. I just spoke to a chef friend of mine out of Dallas who runs a restaurant called Sloan's Corner, farm to table. Same sort of deal. And his big thing was eat as local as you can. Don't go eat at Chili's and order from them. Like eat from the local places that are going to need the funds more than a bigger place that might even get bailout money or help, or they just have a harder for them to fall sort of thing. So that's basically what you're saying too. Just let's support the local community as much as we can.
100%, 100%, absolutely.
Yeah, and to be forgiving. This is something else he said. Just be very forgiving and patient with the restaurant you're working with as well. Maybe it's new procedures. They're also having to, like you said, they're having to take all those safety procedures. And so maybe things are taking a little bit longer. Maybe your fries were a little bit cold. Maybe this was this way and that way. Don't go write a 1-star Yelp review, please. Let's.
If you write a 1-star Yelp review right now, you literally don't have a soul.
I agree.
I'm not going to be politically correct when I say that. You literally don't have a soul. I mean, we've been extremely fortunate. Our experience has been that even when we make a small, misstep, being that, we've been doing home delivery for 2 weeks, people are extremely sympathetic. We obviously rectify the situation immediately and make sure that the customer is taken care of. But the reactions are, we know y'all are busy and we thank you so much, but this and this, and it's great because it's like, okay, they understand it.
Yes.
This is like difficult times.
Yes, absolutely, man, absolutely. It's difficult times, and you guys are still out there in the field, pushing hard and working for these people. So yes, and anybody, right? Any restaurant, any place doing this food. Everybody's working super hard and putting in the long hours and their own safety at risk to make sure that you get food. So yes, again, no 1-star reviews. My God, I don't even want to think about. I just don't.
Tell your friends, yes. Tell your wife, tell your dog, but don't do it on Yelp. Not right now. Just give it a break.
Just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree, man. Well, look, that's a good positive, note to lean on. People know how to support the industry, and again, man, kudos to you guys for what you're doing. And yeah, man, I'm just so sorry that all this is happening, and just stay strong, right? Stay strong and keep doing what you're doing. And it's just one day at a time, man. And that's how we're gonna get through this.
This will not last forever. My wife recently told me, the influenza situation of the 1918, 1919, what happened right after that? The Roaring 20s.
That's right. That's right.
Done. Let's bring it on, man. Just open the doors and let's go nuts. Let's get through it. Let's everybody get through it. But when it's over, man, everybody's going to be ready to get out and get after it. And
my God. Absolutely, man. I cannot wait. Yes, you're absolutely right. This is going to be the Roaring 20s again. Well, that's good advice. Your wife's right. I agree with her. Let's hope that happens. And you're right. It's not going to be very much longer. Let's all stay together, stay calm, stay patient. And forgiveness is key, I think, at this point. And let's just, we'll get through this, man.
Perfect.
So listen, man, thank you so much, Sam. Again, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're exhausted. Hopefully you get some rest, man, and, get back to this tomorrow. But again, thank you for taking the time. This podcast will go out on Monday. So I'll tag everything on social media and all that. And I'll send you a link specifically to your email so that you have it.
Perfect, man.
So,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Again, take care tonight. Good luck with everything. And if there's anything I could ever do, let me know. I'm here.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Tell a friend to go eat at a restaurant and to order a farm box from farm to table.
Absolutely. I'm honestly going to get a box, man. I'm going to look into it and get a box. I'll order a box.
Take care of you. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure it's extra special.
Oh, gosh. I don't need that. I'm regular Joe. I'll share it with the neighbors for sure. That's my goal. Spread the love.
All right, man. Be safe and be healthy, and we'll stay in touch.
All right, brother. You too, boss. Be good. All right, guys. So that was my interview with Sam. Hope you enjoyed it. It's heartbreaking what they're going through, right? So you heard it all. How to support, what you can do, and again, if you guys ever have any questions, make sure to email me, patrick@texasrealfood.com, and be happy to answer any questions you have, any suggestions, whatever, hit us up. As always, thank you so much for listening to the Lone Star Plate podcast. Make sure to check us out on Apple and Spotify and Stitcher. And, you can even see the podcast on YouTube because we're filming it as well. And yes, thank you so much for your support and, for listening and taking the time out, during this crisis. So hope it's been helpful and hope you've learned something. And again, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time on the Lone Star Plate podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Scott Armstrong.